up, everybody? I'm Dominique.
And I am Brandy, and we are your host of Hey Fave, a weekly podcast where two best friends get together and talk about everything and nothing at the same time. Let's get into it.
Yes. If you're watching, let me go ahead and do this now and not be rude.
Yes.
If you're watching, you see, we are joined by a guest today.
Hey, guys.
If you're listening, there she go. All right, wonderful. We have the privilege of being joined by, let's see, social media presence, personality.
Yeah.
You may have seen her on a little thing called Tilago's Tidbits.
Mm-hmm.
She is also now a podcast host.
Yeah.
And all around purpose pusher.
Come on.
Let's go.
Welcome
Come
to
on.
the show,
Let's go.
Thanks, guys.
Tiffany Tilago Godwin.
Welcome.
Yay.
Skirt. No, yeah. Wow.
Thank you for joining us.
I love the intro, y'all. Thank you.
We try to make the people feel welcome.
I'm really excited to be here.
Yay.
You know?
I'm glad.
I am.
We are
Really.
excited to have you.
To be a fave today.
Hey.
So how are you? Are you good?
I'm great. You know?
You know, people be like, "How are you? Are you like?" I just answered for you. Like,
Yeah, are you good?
Can't say no.
And then you're like, actually, I just had the worst day. But since you said, "Are you good?" Yeah. You know, now that you say it, yeah, I'm doing well.
My bad.
No.
You know, but yeah,
That's funny.
I just after I did, I'm just gonna answer the question
I'm
for
good.
her. Just okay. I'm glad you're good.
I'm good. You know, that's funny. Okay, this is probably off topic, but
It's
whatever.
fine. You know, whatever.
Chantel and I had a conversation in the car where she asked how I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And then I defaulted to answering everything that I'm a part of. Like
Oh.
answering how everything I'm a part of is
But
doing.
not how you're
And
doing.
she said, okay, wait, but how are you? And I was like, oh,
That's the life coach.
well,
The wellness coach.
I'm good.
I think
It's like, wow, how do you see yourself apart from? Anyway,
that is yes.
you know, we won't go down that road.
Yeah,
but I
you
am,
know,
I'm
that could
doing
be a
well,
thing.
guys.
doing
I'm
her
glad
job.
you're doing well.
Yeah.
I'm glad you are
She
doing
did
well. So let's just get right into it.
Let's.
Since purpose is your thing,
I do love purpose.
you are like very motivated about it. And, we figured let's talk to our people about purpose and let you help them.
I'm super passionate about it. So, yeah.
So listen, why? What motivates you so much?
Oh,
why,
man.
Why purpose? Like what's so?
What's the thing about it?
Yeah.
I think I spent so many years. Well, I think all of us, though, as
Mhm.
you're like growing up, you spend so many years trying to like find you, right? And you're trying to like figure out what is life about? Who are you?
Mhm.
What are you supposed to be doing? All these things. And so I just felt like the easiest. Well, I had heard about, of course, like the purpose thing, growing up in church and all the things. And I listened to a lot of motivational talks and people and all the things.
Mhm.
And they would always talk about purpose. And I
Mhm.
was like, I feel like that's the key, right? And so it's almost like when I went on my like purpose journey, or really started intentionally going on a purpose journey,
Got you.
that's when life started to make more sense. Things just felt better, felt more right, felt more natural, felt, whatever.
Mhm.
And so I just feel like purpose is just so important. I'm all about like trying to get everyone else, like helping them to find theirs, so that you don't feel like this lost puppy or something throughout your whole entire life too. You know?
Got you. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Mm-hmm.
So, how would you define purpose then?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Real simply, it's just what you were created to do, what you were placed on this earth to do, which each one of us has our own unique thing that I think God placed inside of us to do, or he had this. I don't always want to say like there was a problem that you're coming to solve, but there's a reason that you were placed here. Like it's not haphazard. He wasn't, like just up wherever or doing his thing, creating you. And then he was like, yeah, I'm gonna throw them down there right now. Like, no, I think that God is too intentional for that. And so purpose is just the reason for which you were created, the reason for why he placed you here in the time that he placed you, where he placed you, all those things are connected to purpose. And so, like I just describe it as literally why you're here, why we are each here, Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Ask it.
So, while you're on your purpose journey,
Yeah.
what did that consist of, or what steps did you take to, I guess, go on that journey?
Yeah. So I think it started out with learning me, right? Well, okay, first of all, let me back up. It started out with me realizing I was lost.
Yeah.
It started out with me figuring, like, seeing, like, I'm kind of moving through life with no direction. There's not, like, everything I'm doing is not connected. Like, things just don't feel like they're clicking for me. And so it started off with that, like, I'm acknowledging that I want direction. Like, I desire to be going in a certain direction or whatever space. And then it was like, okay, well, how do I find that direction? And like I said, well, y'all probably talk about it a lot, but I am Christian. So I was like, we're going to point back to my creator. And so, hey, God, like, how am I supposed to figure this out? And so it started, or the next step for me was figuring me out, right? Like figuring out, and that's still through figuring God out too. Like, who is he and why does he create? And why did he place people here? Like, why did he want people here? And then learning about his love, and then you learn about yourself. And that's a journey always, right? Figuring out your desires, your thoughts, your passions, your personality, and how that looks in like different seasons too. And then through that, like honing in on those things, the passions, the desires, the hurts, the disappointments, all of that stuff is connected, I believe, to purpose. And so figuring all of those things out helped me to kind of see, like, okay, this is maybe a reason why I'm here or whatever. Like, I just started pinpointing things and like picking things out. Okay. And then now it's always, I feel like you're always on this journey. So it doesn't stop, like, just because you feel like you figured something out. Yeah. Like, you keep going throughout your whole entire life, because if your purpose was over, I feel like God would be like, all right, it's time for me. It's time for me to bring you on back. Time me, let's come on back, snatch you back, because it's time. But I think you're always on the journey, but I think there's a way to be on it intentionally, and there's a way to where you just stumble upon it too. But I think essentially those like kind of first steps are how you get started for the most part.
That kind of goes along with a question I had. Like, once you define your purpose, is that it, or can it evolve or even change?
This is one of my favorite questions, because I believe that it doesn't change.
Okay.
Like, I don't think that God changed his mind or is changing his mind whenever he created you and then placed you here. Like, I think that he knew, like, hey, this is why I'm putting this man or woman down here. And that's it. And I like to think of it like that. And I think it works like that, because if he was a God who like gave us 25 choices of a purpose, it would be so hard for you to figure out like which one. I am very indecisive. So I know that I would have a really hard time choosing out of the 25 purposes, like which one. And then you start thinking like, oh man, which purpose is better, right? So then you start ranking purposes and think for yourself. And I think that God is just like, he's too kind for that. Like, he's too kind for that. He's too loving for that. And again, too intentional for that. And so I just feel like he chose one purpose for each of us. However, the purpose is really broad. Like, it encompasses a whole lot. And so I think where I used to get hung up, especially at the beginning of my purpose journey, is like, I would get stuck on like one aspect of it and think like, this is where I'm supposed to sit. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. And then I realized like, well, if this is the only time that I'm living on purpose, then what am I doing with the rest of my day? Right. Or like the rest of the 24 hours that I get, like these are still purposeful. Like, there's still purpose here. Right. And so I think that it doesn't change. I think that it does evolve, but the way that I think it evolves is like, you just learn more about God, more about you, and you have more experiences. And so then you get a more full picture. It's almost like if you're like walking, let's just say you have like, you start with a flashlight, right? And that's only showing you like a small bit. Like, you can only see so much with that light, right? But then let's say you get a bigger light from somewhere. I don't know what kind of light you're getting, but you get a bigger one. And you get a bigger light, and then it starts showing you even more. So then it broadens, gets even bigger. And then you start, like, you just keep getting more and more light that shows more and more of your purpose. So it doesn't necessarily change. You're just getting a better perspective or a better view of it. So I feel like it just evolves as we evolve as humans each day.
So like the purpose itself doesn't change, but maybe the way you operate.
For sure.
Or walk in it.
Yeah, and I think it has to, because if you experience different things, like what you have the capability to do as like a child
Mm-hmm.
is going to be different as an adult. Most of the time, right? And so if my purpose, if I figured it out when I was 5 and then I only did the same stuff I did when I was 5 at the same age of like, or if I'm doing that at 30, there's a little issue. You see what I'm
Something
saying?
missing, something got a little
Yeah,
stuck
just
somewhere.
a little bit. And so I am evolving. Like, I think God is just that like cool and makes things, I say complex, not in a negative way, but complex in like that's so intricate, so many different pieces, right? And so if we are always evolving, then I think everything that we do and everything around us is evolving at the same time, right? So I think our purpose definitely evolves with us. It just doesn't change. We just get a better perspective of it. Yeah.
That's neat.
That is cool.
Yeah.
Like you.
I love me some purpose, y'all. So you know.
So I guess, so would you say like the reason that identifying your purpose or operating in it is to give yourself direction and fulfillment, or is like there another reason it's so important?
Ultimately, you just hit it on the head. Like, ultimately, the reason I think it's really important for anyone to find purpose is for fulfillment. It's the most fulfilling. It is the absolute most fulfilling way to live your life. Like, because if you're living like a different purpose, or if you're doing something different than what you were 100% intended to, you're always going to be longing for something. Like, there's always going to be this like emptiness, I feel like.
Yes.
And you're like, so you go searching for other stuff, right? Like, so you go searching for happiness, you go searching for relationships, you go searching for joy, you go searching for all these things. And I think that the way that God created us in purpose, like if we find that purpose, it's not always going to make us happy. It's not always going to bring us joy. It's not always going to bring us all the perfect relationships that we think we should have. But I think like at the end of the day, you can lay down and be like, okay, today was fulfilling because I was living on purpose. Like, I was being completely me, doing exactly what I think I was called here to do, or like what feels supernatural to me to be doing right now. And that's like, that feels fulfilling, right? Like, I'm not second guessing every day of my life of like, what did I do different today? Or, you know what I mean?
Okay.
That's kind of how I look at it.
So is a calling the same as a purpose? Is your purpose the same as your calling?
Oh, I think that.
I heard you say call.
Oh, I did say that. I think that your calling is what is the thing that can look different in the season. Like, so I think your purpose stays the same, but then whatever you're called to do in that
moment.
Yeah. Yeah. I think in certain contexts you can maybe interchange them. But I think if we're like trying to get really technical, maybe, that I would say like what I'm called to do in this season is not what I'm going to be called to do in the next, or like whatever. So that would be more of the calling piece.
Okay.
I think that's a really good question.
But you answered it pretty good. Like,
That's good.
That's understandable.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's funny though. Like, there's those words that people like use like that, and you're like, oh, does that mean
Like,
this?
this is my calling, but is it your purpose, or are they the same? Yeah.
Do you think people take time to determine that, like to determine if those are different?
Most people probably don't.
Yeah,
Man.
just go with.
Just go with it.
Come on, people.
Yeah.
Get
Take
your
some
life.
time.
Right.
No, but yeah, that's a good question. Yeah. That's a journal entry or something. Journal prompt.
Go for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look.
Is this my purpose or my calling, or both? Whatever.
I think that is worth exploring. People. Well, everybody. We can include ourselves, but yeah.
Yes.
I think
Me too.
like,
Phil, me too.
just
Yeah.
but, yes, I think that is definitely worth exploring, because then that will make you define calling for yourself. That makes you define purpose for yourself. Like, we of course, we get definitions from everywhere, but
for sure,
it ultimately comes down to what is purpose to me.
Yes.
And then then you can elaborate for yourself.
That's good.
Oh, that's cool.
Huh. See, I'm going to ask y'all questions in a second. No, go ahead. We good. They're coming to me. Yeah.
And feel free.
Yeah.
So, okay, you mentioned your purpose journey and like how it got started for you. Like, how would you first, how would you suggest anybody that wants to, start off on their own thing? Like, how would you suggest they get started?
Oh, yeah. If you've already seen the like I feel lost thing. Great, you're in a great spot because you've like taken the time to like there's something that you're realizing is missing, or there's something that you're realizing you want or desire, right? And so as you're looking for this direction, or you're looking for your purpose, I always say, even if you don't know what your purpose is, if you are being authentic to yourself and to who you are, then you're living on purpose. You might not be able to like cite your purpose and tell somebody like, this is why I was created, this is why I'm here. But if you're living in your like truest authentic self, you are honestly living on purpose, because I just don't like, it doesn't make sense to me for like God to create me with a purpose, but to give me a personality and desires and wants and things that don't line up. Right. So even if I can't tell you exactly what my purpose is, if I can tell you what I desire, if I can tell you what I'm passionate about, if I can tell you what lights me up or whatever, however that looks, then I'm probably living out my purpose. Does that make sense? So I tell people like, anytime somebody asks me like how to get started, I'm like, well, who are you? Like, that's the first question I always ask, is like, well, who are you? And then it kind of like, you have to think about like, we just literally, this connects back to like how I said, Chantel asked me in the car, like, how are you doing? Like disconnecting yourself from everything you do. Right. And thinking about like, who am I as a being? Like, what is Tiff like? What does Tiff do? What is Tiff not like? Who does Tiff not like? Okay.
Okay.
But literally all of that, like, you know, even if you don't like Beyonce, God bless you. But like all the things can happen here.
Just okay. Album.
No. I'm just kidding. But yeah, like if you just like take some time to get to know you, then you'll, I think that'll put you on the right path. And along with that, honestly, this probably should have been first, but figuring out who God is to you, like figuring that out. I feel like you can figure it out at the same time, but like figuring out who he is to you, and like, why, like I said, why he's even created people, and like, is it, I mean, for me, well, not for me, I think for anyone, he created us because he loved us, right? He wanted people to love. He wanted humans to love. And he was like, okay, I'm gonna create them to love them, type of thing, right? So it wasn't like, again, he didn't need us here. He can do every single thing that he wants to do in his own power. But he was like, I want someone to come here and create with me. I want someone to create I want us to create together, and I want to show them how much I love them through this, like through everything I create, even them. And so seeing him in the right light will help you to see yourself in the right light. And then you'll, you know, as you figure yourself out, you start to find like, oh snap, purpose, like here it is. And then you see purpose in everything. It's wild. Yeah.
Yes.
So if somebody is on this journey, like say they've attempted to start and now they are just stuck, or they're just struggling with identifying it, or like they feel like they know what it is, but they are struggling with walking in it. Like, what do you have any like advice or one thing you would tell that person? Yeah.
So someone who actually knows what their purpose is, but is like, I'm not trying to live that out.
Sure.
Okay. Okay.
Like, I'm not trying to do that.
Yeah. Oh, because listen. All right. Your girl has been there. All right. I can honestly give like personal stories of that, where I've known for a very long time that my purpose is to use my voice. Now, when I was younger, well, I won't even say younger, like a few years ago, I used to narrow that down. And I'd be like, it's to use my voice to XXXXX, you know, like to say this or to do this. Yeah. And God was like, even that is like narrowing what I've called you to do here. Like even adding on the two. It's only a piece, right? So yeah, you are in this season, and I think we're going to get to it, but it's like in one season I was like, I was created to use my voice to help people find their peace, right? Or like whatever. Yeah. And he was like, oh, okay. Cool. So nothing else? Like we not using our voice for nothing else? And I was like, I mean, we could, but you know, I thought that was what we were doing. And it just seemed like it was so much more to that. And so, but period, using my voice when I was younger, y'all, I won't try to talk to nobody. Like I've always been outgoing. I've always been, upbeat and whatever, had this personality, but to like actually want to like talk to people and help people with certain things, I was so nervous. Like I hated public speaking. I hated being in front of people in the classroom. don't put me on a stage. Like, I didn't like that stuff. So, and my mom will tell you too, like, she didn't like even talking to people, period. Like, just talking to people.
That's an issue now.
But is it an issue or is it just you? You know? You know?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Let's explore. No, I'm just kidding.
Look.
But really, that's where, so like, even me thinking about that, like, I was in a place where I knew what I was supposed to be doing. Like, there's this still, even as a young kid, I feel like there was still this like thing in me that was like, you really want to talk. Like, you desire to talk, you desire to do these things. But there was something in me that was like, no, but like, no, we don't want to do it. We don't. So I'm trying to run from it. Right. So I always say, like, especially if you know what your purpose is, like, you know it and you can like, you're like, I know this is it. Like, I can't deny it. I'm big on just like, do not ignore your convictions. Don't ignore those strong knowings. Like, don't, like, because they won't go away. Like, they're not going anywhere. So it's better for you to like go with that flow than it is to go against it. And not even on like you're putting yourself behind so many years and stuff like that. It's nothing like that. In my brain, it's just a matter of, man, if you could just find the fulfillment earlier, why not?
Right.
You know,
by not, or if wrestling with it, you're literally wrestling. Like,
yes.
You probably won't even like have peace in either overall or in a certain
that's
area.
it.
Like,
where you're like, something is some tension. I always say there will always be tension. Now, there will be tension to grow in your purpose. There'll be tension to grow in anything, right? But there's this different type of tension that y'all probably have felt too, like, before, resistance. Right? Resistance. Where you're like, there is something like, I feel this pulling me. Like, and you're like, I keep trying to get away from it. And it is like this bungee cord. Yeah. Boomerang. Bring your behind back here. Okay. So like, literally, like, I think you just keep getting pulled back. So why not just give in, you know? So I just say, don't ignore it. And then I know you said only one thing, but I got a lot to say.
Tell them all the things.
I feel like if you are going to like think about your purpose as more than something that's for you. Right? Because like, technically, honestly, if we're being real, your purpose really isn't for you. It's for everybody else. But there's this he's like, well, he was a monk, so now he's like just a motivational speaker coach thing. Jay Shetty is his name. Okay. But he had this quote a long time ago that I heard in an interview, and I was like, oh, that's so good. But he said, your passion is for you, your purpose is for others. And so what you're like passionate about doing is still connect to your purpose, right? But you like, it fills you up.
That's the part you get to
the part you get to enjoy, right? That's the part you get to enjoy doing, seeing, like, all the things evolving in. But then your purpose is what's there to help others. It's what's there to again, I hate saying like the fix the problem thing, but it's essentially there to help somebody to move forward in their life or to do something different in their life. And so that can look so many different ways. Like, you know, people don't like to I talk about like different places you can find purpose, and some of the ones that I found it in the most. And I would say I've absolutely found it in like the things that have caused me the most pain and most disappointment. Like, just with different types of, like, with me using my voice, like, just different parts of my life where I felt like I shouldn't be talking about this, right? Or like, or whatever. Like, it just feels like there's so much hurt attached to this. But then I realized, as I start talking about it, first of all, I experienced the freedom, right? Because like, now I've been able to get it out. But then two, I've like allowed somebody else who's felt that burden or whatever, to see that they are not alone in it, or to see how they can overcome or whatever. Or if I'm walking through it, they can see how to walk through it too. And so I'm like, I will not like, harbor the gift or harbor this purpose that God has given me. So I found it in my pain. I found purpose definitely in my passions, definitely in the things that I love to do, and find enjoyable. So of course that one, right? But then I found it just, I don't know. I found it so many different places because I think purpose is just everywhere. So, but those are the kinds of things I would tell people who are kind of feeling stuck.
Don't fight it.
Don't fight it.
Look for it, even where you least expect it.
Yeah.
And it's not for you.
It's there. Yeah. Bing.
Cool.
You got. Boom.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. You know.
before we transition, Brandy, do you have any other purpose questions?
No, I'm sitting here listening, and
what you got, Brandy? What's on your mind?
I'm just listening because I think that I actually struggle with my purpose. I know what I'm supposed to do, but I don't do it, and I think it's just laziness. But do
you think it's just laziness, or do you think like, how long? Okay, let's start here. How long have you known what your purpose is, or what you feel like your purpose is?
It's been years.
Oh man.
Yeah. It's
okay.
been years.
Do you feel like every things that you have been doing for years have been not purposeful?
No.
Okay.
No.
Good.
I think my thing is like, I'm kissing the mic.
That's usually me.
My thing is, look, my thing is like, I'll be like, okay, I know this is my purpose, but then I've been complaining about it. It's like, it's annoying. I be annoyed with myself, but yeah, I complain about it I get annoyed. But I like to do it. I just be lazy. I just be
okay. Okay.
Dominique be trying to help me, but I be
see.
I just be,
See? You got this. All those tips are for you. Don't ignore it. Keep looking for it. But it's cool that it's interesting that it keeps pulling you back though, because that's the same thing that's been on your mind. But then also that you don't feel like life has been purposeless.
Yeah.
Because it is everywhere. So, I mean, there's always going to be something connected to purpose. Like God is always going to be dropping signs. Like you really know this where you can be.
That that is true. True story.
So I get that. Okay, I get it.
This is for me.
This is for me. She's present. Present.
Look.
Cool.
I came with you.
So we've mentioned that you have a podcast.
I do.
You just finished season 1.
I did.
Congratulations.
Thanks, guys.
Congratulations.
Yeah, and so that is all about purpose.
Yeah.
People go check it out. It's called Pushing Purpose.
Yeah. Pushing Purpose Podcast.
On all the things.
All the things, yeah.
So tell us about that. What made you do it and all that.
Yeah. Well, so honestly, I started it because so knowing that my purpose is to use my voice, right? I now have gotten like these dreams and visions and everything of me on stages, right? Just speaking. So I'm like, well, here we go.
Like TED Talk and all that?
I don't know if it's TED Talk, just speaking, just talking. Okay. Yeah, just up there doing, just running my mouth. So, so it's like, I know where I'm going, and what I've been doing. Like that's a part of the things I've been doing. But, I wanted a way, number one, to talk about something that I was super passionate about. So purpose made sense. But then number two, like I selfishly was doing it to like, sharpen my skills, like sharpen my speaking skills, to be real. So it was like, okay, if I have to create these episodes and create this content, then like this is going to help with creating actual like talks. Right? But I can do, but I'm like, I can do this and like edit this and cut this out and da-da-da-da. But at least like trying to get better with not having to edit, or like as the research part of it goes, like trying to get that down. So like trying to do all these things is like kind of was actually my mindset when I first started it. So it was all selfish. But
it be like that sometimes.
Yeah. And I was okay with it. I was like, we gonna do this. Okay. And then, but really though, it was more so because I was having, especially during the pandemic, so many conversations with people who had been feeling lost, like even more lost than normal. Like they thought they knew where they were, where they were headed, or the direction they were supposed to be going. And then the pandemic came.
It shook a lot of folks up.
Okay.
It was
listen.
like,
listen. Hello. Are you good?
Right.
How's your foundation? You know?
Right.
And so literally I just kept having conversations, and it wouldn't be like me asking like, how's your purpose? Like it was people just coming and saying, I've just been so lost, or I've just been feeling like all over the place these days. And I thought I knew what I was doing. I thought I knew where I was headed. And I was like, okay, hold on. Like this is more people than normal, right? And so then this goes back to like, where am I finding purpose, right? And so if I am seeing God dropping these hints of like this many people coming, or at least me being able to like that sticking in my mind when that many people say something about being lost and stuff.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I was like,
I'm sorry.
Because you're supposed to be living right now. Because you're supposed to be doing it right now. I'm just
yeah, absolutely. Exactly.
Yeah,
I'm just
Brandy.
thinking, let me continue.
I can't wait until you. But no, for real, it's like all these things. I'm like, this is sticking in my mind. I need to do something about this. But how do I do it on a grand scale? Or I say, grand scale, to reach more people. Because I know if these are the ones who are in my circle who are talking about this, there have got to be more, right? So I was like, let's just start a podcast. I had done YouTube. Yeah. Till I Goes Tidbits. I know y'all were going to talk about that. Yeah. So I had done Till I Goes Tidbits for a long time, like a few years ago. And so I was like, well, I got the editing and all that stuff down. So let's just try doing just the audio, you know? Gotcha. So kudos to y'all. But I was like, let me try to do just this part. And so it was awesome. The season was, I just did 10 episodes to start it out. I told myself, let's do something sustainable. I get it. And not kill ourselves, because I know me, I will get headstrong and like go for it and then realize like we did not set a boundary here. And so I was like, we're going to do 10 episodes, release these, see how this goes, and then see what, how it's going. And the feedback has been awesome. I'm just thankful that it's reached a lot of people and helped a lot of people so far. So yeah.
So does that mean there's potentially a season 2?
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Nice. There is for sure season 2. That was like always in the cards. Okay. It was just more about like how do we do that? Okay. And so season 2 is coming, y'all. Yeah. It's definitely it's gonna be more. Still right now it's a solo podcast, so it's just me. It's just my voice. And so moving forward, I'm hoping to like actually bring in guests. And my hope is, and I said this on the podcast, I think one of the first episodes, I don't want to bring people who all feel like they know their purpose. Because then that's kind of like, okay, like
they
if
all
someone
got it together, how does this help me?
Exactly. And so I'm like, I've got the people who, right, their words stuck in my brain of like, I feel lost, I feel all over the place, bringing them in and then really just walking through like, let's see if we can find where purpose is in your life. Yeah. That's dope. So look, I'm about to challenge myself, but I think that,
I on this podcast.
Yeah. Come on, Brandy. Come on. But there's so many different like conversations that I've had that go like that to where I'm like, we should be able to do this. And so, and again, if I feel like this is really where I'm called right now, then I'm feeling confident in it. So
I think that actually be cool. And I do think, it'll be helpful because people like if they see themselves in that person who they're talking to or whatever. So then they'll come out with the tools they need to kind of apply to their own situation.
Yeah.
So, cool. We will definitely be looking forward to that. Absolutely. That was my next question. I was like, are you going to still be focused on like teaching, like this is what purpose, blah blah blah. But I think like that isn't even that's a cool way.
Yeah, because I was like, I have so many ideas for like still teaching or whatever. But I'm like, man, I just need a I just want to sit and talk to someone, like you said, and just walk it through. And then in a way, like literally just like you said, that people can take whatever they need and apply it to their own lives. Because I think like if you can see how it starts to like how the pieces make sense in someone else's life, then you're like, oh, wait a minute, or things start to like you start to be more aware of where the signs are, I guess you can say, because they're always there. So season 2 on the way.
Hey, cool. So yes, we have mentioned a couple of times. Till I Goes Tidbit.
Yeah,
it was a nice show on YouTube. It's still there.
It is still
it just hasn't had a new episode in quite a while.
Years.
So
years.
So like how did we get here from like what made you you started there and now we are here at Purpose Focused and like, on a podcast. Like what was that transition? Transition.
Let's make up the translation of no.
What was that transition like? And like what directed that transition?
How did we get here?
How did we get here?
That is such a good question. Like, because I was sitting here thinking like, how did I get here? So I started Till I Goes Tidbits as like more peace focused. Okay. Like more about inner peace, more about like being comfortable with yourself, being comfortable in the quiet. And I started that one. I feel like all these are like birthed definitely out of a space I was in, right? And so I had been feeling before I started Till I Goes Tidbits like that my life was just noisy. My life was very noisy. There was a lot going on. If you can't tell, I got a lot of energy, right? So I'm always bouncing off the walls, doing a lot. At that time, I was still in athletic training. And so that life is all over the place also too. And so like trying to hone in on like, okay, I need peace. Like I need like firm foundation, like solid space, whatever, to clear my mind, to just relax, to just feel stable, right? Because I just felt like everything in my life was like this.
Gotcha.
And so I started that after I had like kind of gone through like hey God, how do I hone in on this piece that you say that you give that the world can't take away and doesn't give to me? And so I started kind of honing in on like what peace was. And so once I did all that work, I was like, okay, let's start Talagos Tidbits, right? And then I realized too, like all the journaling is really huge for me, y'all. And so I realized like that was a part of it. And so just kind of talking about all the ways that I had found peace and like cultivated peace and like cultivated a life of inner peace and all the things I felt like it was cool to share. And then I started walking down more of the motivational, positive energy kind of chit chats that I would have on Talagos Tidbits. Like I said, like Dom said, they're still there. So go watch them. I have no clue what I was saying back then, but you know what? It's been years, so it's cool. But yeah, like I would talk about all those things. And then I stopped that. Like I did that for maybe like a year. And I was really impressed with myself because a year on YouTube is whoa, you know, like it's a thing.
Tell me about it.
Yeah. So I made it a year. And then in that space, I didn't really have like an end time. So that's how I've learned boundaries for the podcast now. But I stopped that. And then I was like, okay, what's next? So I started... Oh my goodness. I started so many things throughout that time. I feel like, but one huge one, I started Talagos Stationery Company, which I think you mentioned too. So where I started
about that.
Yeah, I know. And that's chilling right now too. Okay. But it's not, but that's one that I still have so much heart for that one and passion for that one. It's a company where I sell right now journals and pens and all the things that can just help with a journal, like your quiet time basically is what my thought is. So yeah, stay tuned because I really will be bringing TSC, that's what I call it for short, back. But I moved from Talagos Tidbits.
Use mine.
Yes, I love them.
It's a good pen.
I love it. See, it is, right? Those pens are some things. Okay. So I moved from Talagos Tidbits to TSC, and then I was kind of chilling. I say chilling. I was chilling on the social side of like Tiff creating a whole bunch of stuff.
Out.
Yes. Because your girl life has been busy. It's been busy in a really good way, but it's been a lot going on. There are a lot more spaces I've been using my voice in. And so I was like, let me just take a breather from putting out my own content and stuff like that. And then the podcast came, and so that was cool. And so now I'm in the process of just kind of seeing what that was like, what was good, what was great, what I did like, what I didn't like, and honing in or like, what do you call it? Kind of updating that or putting that however I want it to be for this next season. Okay. And then, moving forward with all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
Let's get it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So do you think purpose is it, or like that's your thing, or is that just that's what's it for now?
Oh man. That's good. I feel like that's the one that hasn't left. So I don't know if that's it. Well, okay, let me put it like this. I think that I've had to shift my perspective from just seeing, like, if I give a talk that I don't necessarily mention purpose, like I can still see that as me leading somebody to purpose. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so that's what I've had to start doing now, because I'm speaking a lot more just straight scripture or, things like that. And so I still think like if I am connecting someone back to God, I'm connecting them to themselves and to purpose. And so I think purpose is, man, it sticks. It is the one I can't run from it. Okay. Like it keeps getting me.
It's a continuous thing.
Yes. Yeah. It's like the little like strain of, that sits. If like use my voice is here, purpose is like always right along with it. So sometimes peace will pop up in there, or like, I don't know, whatever, motivation and things like that. They'll pop up with it. But bottom, it always comes back to purpose. Yeah. Yeah. So maybe so, but I don't know, y'all. Check me out in a few years. We'll see.
See what's up.
Yeah.
Look.
We'll see what we doing.
That was really cool.
Yeah. These are really good questions. Y'all are good.
Yeah.
Man, y'all got me thinking, like, what do I know?
Dominique with the question.
I know. I just love how Brandy's energy
Look,
is here. Just like, I'm hearing you.
I've been listening for the past 2 episodes.
Wow.
Like, I just sit, I'm listening, taking it in.
I understand that.
Darling.
You know.
I understand that.
Yes.
Yeah, you can come be on Pushing Purpose
Help
podcast.
me.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. No, it sounds like you already look.
Girl.
Uh-huh.
Listen, she had a whole aha moment over there.
I was about to say.
When you mentioned the little,
That's how he speaks, man. That's how God speaks. Yeah.
Jesus.
So we mentioned, we did mention the journals. You are a journal
Yeah.
enthusiast.
Heavily.
There was a question following those statements.
It's okay. Hey, journaling is really
Why?
connected to purpose. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. Why?
Why?
Tell me. No, I'm just kidding. Journaling, I think, is really, really connected to purpose. I think it's connected to everything. Mm-hmm. I think it's a really good way to get your thoughts out, to process. Mm. If nothing else, it is like the best way for me to process without or other than like me talking to someone or whatever. I think it has helped me tremendously. Like I definitely spent all those years, like I said, where I felt like there was a lot of noise, or just a lot of jumbled thoughts, a lot going on, that I hadn't processed and like had buried. I'm a suppressor. So like things happen and I'm just, we ain't got to deal with you right now. Yes. For real though. Right. Especially in this society. My God. So journaling was like my way of like, okay, we are going to talk about this with ourselves or with God, and we're going to figure out where this comes from or what the root is or what you're really feeling and all the things. And so I just took the time to start journaling again. As a kid, I had diaries, so I was big on that, but I would more so as a kid, I was diarying. Okay. We just made that up too. We got translation and diarying. Okay. And I would just talk about the day, right? So I was like, yeah, today, like, Johnny said, hey, those kinds of things as a kid. But like, as I've journaled, as I've gotten older, it's like, okay, here's the deep stuff. Like why did that trigger you today? And so I just love asking myself the hard questions. And then allowing myself to sit with the thoughts, the feels, and with God, so that we can process them in a healthy way. And yes, I've been to therapy. We've been to all the things. And therapy was awesome, and I still feel like journaling has been a really good tool for me. Even as I've even before therapy and as I've gotten out. Yeah. So, and that's like another place to find purpose, right? Because if you're using all this time to process all these things, then most of your like most intimate, deepest, most secretive, I guess you can say, thoughts are there, and the ideas that you have and the things that stick out to you during the day are probably in your journal. And so if you would just look back, and I have looked back over mine and been like, oh, wow, I didn't even realize that was connected, Wow. Yeah. And so and it's been wild. Like I'll do that every now and then, just like flip to a random page and be like, oh my God. But there's so much purpose in there too, that you just see how God was working the whole time and calling you to your purpose the whole time. So yeah, everybody should journal.
Everybody should journal. I don't do it a lot, but I do have a Talago
stationery.
Yes. The blank edition.
The blank edition.
Get one.
Yeah.
I every once in a while, it comes out. I haven't,
yeah.
But,
yeah. And I'm like, journal however you journal, right? So if that's like, you're more digital, do it there. If you're more. That's the
thing. I always have my phone. I can drop a note in my phone.
Yes. That's still journaling. Yeah.
Yeah.
If it's a voice memo, I mean, do whatever you got to do. But I'm like, at least get the thoughts out. Yeah. Like that's what I had to come to learn to do or come to terms with. Like I really need to do that. So
cool.
I'm in my venting session.
Venting, yes. Have the vent session.
Journal.
Yes. Yes. You ain't hurt nobody's feelings, you just getting it out.
Look.
So
decide to send it somewhere.
now I didn't tell you to do
I'm
that.
Like, Dominique, look what I wrote.
Yeah.
I'm gonna send this to you. You let me know if I'm true.
Yeah. Am I crazy?
Right.
And be like, Tiff told me to nope.
Disclaimer.
Not me. Yeah. Yeah. I am not licensed in telling you to do nothing. Okay. So all suggestions, take them with a grain of salt. But But no, they've been really helpful for me. So
nice.
I would absolutely say do it.
I say try it out, even if it's not your thing. Because
Yep.
I didn't think it was. I'm more of a list person.
Yes.
That's the most thing that gets written out.
Yeah.
Mostly to-do lists.
Yeah.
And stuff. But you know, I try, like, once you dropped your line, I was like,
I'm gonna try it. You did say that. There are a lot of people who did, who were like, I don't do that.
And really, all it is writing, because I'm a thinker anyway. It's really just writing out what I do when I'm just sitting in silence anyway.
Yeah, bada bing.
So it's just getting it all out and putting it on paper.
Yes.
And it does help you process a little more probably than you would. So I will agree. Because it's like you write this out now, but why though?
Yes. Yes.
Because you can think about it and just feel whatever you feel from that thought.
Yep.
Be triggered or whatever, and then but not necessarily process the why or like how did we get here.
It's always take it the step further.
And then, but also it's not always necessarily necessary. You could just write it all out so you can feel your feelings.
There you go.
And
let it go
about your business.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do recommend it. And this is coming from a not often journaler. You should give it a shot. You know.
I love it. Brandy, do you journal?
Sometimes.
Okay.
I have so many journals, but I don't never fill them up.
Yeah.
They're just all over the place. It's usually just ideas of what I want to do.
Yeah. Oh, so I hear purpose all up in yours.
Girl, look, let me tell you something.
Wow. You got dreams in there? My goodness.
Girl, sketches, drawings, lists, everything, ideas.
See?
It's a whole bunch.
I love that you just said that too, because some people think that journaling, like your journal can only be filled with words. Yeah. Right? But it's like, no, you can put literally whatever you want in these things. And I mean, hopefully you're not just broadcasting it, you know?
Yeah.
You know, I'm saving mine. I just feel like when I, like, this is morbid, but I'm like, when I pass, I have like all these collection of journals that like the generations after me can go back and like read through.
I think that's dope, because that's how, like, that is actually how some of us have our stories or knowledge of history before. It's somebody decided to let me write what's happening now, or what happened before. Like, and that is actually that's cool, you know, to keep track.
I always talk about, like, if I were to go or if I had a this or that question and it was like, would you want to go back in time or forward in time? I always want to go back. I always want to go back, and I always want to go back just like, not like I want to go back further than my life though, right? So I want to go back and see like where things happen, like started in my family, and like where roots happen and stuff, because there's a reason that God was intentional for placing me in this family, right? So then all this stuff is connected, and so I'm always like, let me go find out where all this came from, and then that helps me to learn more about me. I mean, I know God is sovereign and again intentional, so he didn't place me in those times and didn't let me know all that stuff for a reason. But I'm like, God, if I could just go and find out. But anyway, I just think that it would be dope to, like, I think it would have been cool to have like journals or thoughts from like my greats. You know? I think that would be cool. So I'm like, I'm gonna give it to somebody.
So you gonna do that for the people?
Yes. I hope they don't get lost, y'all.
That may make me journal.
Oh man.
Actually journal more.
Even if you don't fill them up, it's all good. They can be like, oh, grandma didn't fill this one up.
It would be dope for you, since yours are so full of ideas and stuff. And I think that's what my list be.
Yeah.
Well, I have separate journals, like, blah blah blah. Some of them are prayers. So I have one where you write out your thoughts, and then one is like just from study time, so that turns into a prayer. And then I have a different one
like
for
a daily
goal planning.
Blah, blah, blah.
But for Brandy's sake, like, especially if it has all the sketches and it would be cool to look back after she does all the things. And they'd be like,
and I'd be mad. I'm like, why haven't you done this?
But after you actually do it, it'll be cool for somebody to look back and be like, wow,
it'll be so
we
good.
can see it now, and here was the plan. Because
Years
you're going
ago,
to do it.
This was already.
You're not going to just let it sit in the notebook. It's gonna happen.
You're going to do it.
So
you know what?
We are saying it on this podcast today. Yes.
But
I can't. Oh my gosh.
Dope.
This has been fun.
Y'all are everything. This has been awesome. You
asked
asked such good questions.
We tried.
Really?
So tell the people where we can follow you.
Yeah. So I'm pretty active on Instagram. nowhere else, but or in real life, but I'd rather you not stalk me. So,
Listen,
and
we don't want it.
you know,
We don't want it.
we don't need it. Okay, amen. But on Instagram, you can follow me at the Tilago. That's TheTilago. And on, of course, follow the podcast. It's everywhere streaming right now, so it's called the Pushing Purpose Podcast. So go find that. And then I'm trying to think of where else you can find me. Those are probably the best 2 spots.
Cool.
Best 2 spots. Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
Stationaries.
Yes.
Yes.
Again.
TSC is coming back, you guys. Like I'm honestly, Brandy, I'm kind of like you because I'm like, even in purpose, like you still get stuck on some stuff, right?
Yeah.
I have all the ideas for what's next in TSC and have had them for a very long time. So I'm ready to launch those.
Nice.
So all the things are coming. I'm excited. Be on the lookout.
That's dope.
Thank y'all so much.
Thank you.
Welcome.
This
was so fun.
Great.
Yes.
Yeah,
And y'all listen to the episode when Brandy comes on the
Yes.
Pushing Purpose podcast.
Girl, look. You gonna have me in tears.
It's okay. That's what it's for. That's what definitely. And I will not be crying with you, but I got you. Okay? I got you, Brandy. Yes.
But I am
Yes.
going there.
Literally. Oh my God, I can't. No, this is awesome. Thank y'all so much for having me.
Thank you for coming.
you.
For sure.
We're glad you enjoyed it.
For
We hope
sure.
you all have enjoyed it. We have enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, guys, thank you for joining us
Mm-hmm.
on another episode of Hey Fave. Please make sure that you follow us, watch us, subscribe,
All the things.
rate, all of the things. Yes, on all of our podcast platforms. We're on YouTube if you want to watch us, and I think that's it.
Yeah.
Follow Tiff.
Follow
Yes.
me. But keep following these 2. Y'all are doing awesome
Absolutely.
things.
Look,
Thank you.
we're
Yeah.
trying. We try our best.
You're doing.
But thank you for joining us on another episode, and we'll see y'all on the next one. All right, bye.
Bye.